university in the Department of Educational Leadership, and I teach courses in special education. This morning I'm going to talk about IEPs, individual educational plans. They were first created by law, Public Law 94-142 in 1975. And ever since that time, we have created IEPs for students with disabilities. Before that time, previous to that time, students did not have rights to an education if they had a disability. And so this law provided for those rights. An IEP covers many things. It's a free and appropriate education. By law, we have to provide people with disabilities free and appropriate education in the least restrictive environment. We also need to be able to deploy strengths and look at present levels of functioning and decide how we can help a person function in society. The ultimate goal is for the individual after their education to be able to work and live in the community of their choice, to build assets, to have friends and a meaningful life, to have dependable transportation, to enjoy good health and recreation, to make accommodations for weaknesses. And we must remember that we would like people, when they graduate, to be able to make a living wage with benefits and to function as independently as they possibly can and reach their full potential. Where do we begin with an IEP? We begin by identifying strengths through a process I like to call discovery. This term is not used very much yet in Kentucky, but the discovery process is one where we look at the potential of an individual. We look beyond present functioning. We look to see what we want for this individual and discover what their strengths are, what their needs are, what their opportunities are, and also to look at what their weaknesses are. To identify age and grade appropriate skills. To create goals with the help of the individual, if possible, through self-advocacy and through the help of their family and friends. To make appropriate, reasonable accommodations. The law provides for accommodations for people with special needs. These accommodations need to be appropriate and reasonable. Oftentimes, accommodations will be asked for by the family that may not be a reasonable accommodation. Reasonable means what a reasonable group of peers would agree to, much like in the court of law. We also need to provide support for instruction, for socialization, and for employability. And this support needs to be in the least restrictive environment, which means that a person should be able to function in society, in the normal classroom, in the normal setting at work. That is least restrictive. The more restrictive it is, the more difficult it is for a person to have freedoms and to function. Now, how do we track progress? IEPs are required that we track daily progress, weekly progress, monthly progress, semester-wide progress on annual goals. So basically, what we'll be doing, what you'll be doing in creating an IEP during this course is you will do a discovery plan where you will look at an individual's strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. And then you'll write annual goals. And you'll provide support, reasonable accommodations for those annual goals. And that's basically what we're going to do in this course. We're going to learn how to write individual education plans according to the Kentucky guidelines for IEPs. Now, I've downloaded a copy of the guidelines. They're lengthy, they're tedious, but they're very thorough. And once you go through those guidelines, and we go through this class and we look at individual aspects of those guidelines, you'll be able to write an IEP for any student. We're also going to look at how you write a transition plan. And that transition plan is required by law for anybody 16 years of age or older. So I think we'll begin here and start looking at the different segments of IEPs, and we'll work through this. It will take us a while. We'll go step by step, but by the end, as we put these various different aspects together, you'll be able to write a very good individual education plan, and that'll be very helpful to students with disabilities. Thanks.